Hello everyone, it's Christine here and I'm back for our stitch along, and we are going to be moving on to another interesting form of shadow work, which is called Shadow Trapunto, which is an Italian form of quilting. So in this technique, 2 layers of fabric, I've just folded my fabric over, are stitched together with a running stitch, and then the shapes are filled in with yarn. And I'm going to use colourful wool, tapestry wool, for doing that stage of the process. So I've drawn myself an outline where I've folded the fabric over of a little rosebud with some leaves around it. We also put in just some basting stitches or some tacking stitches to hold the 2 layers of fabric together. Those stitches will be pulled out at the end. So then I've just got some sewing cotton, just a regular sewing cotton, which I haven't tied a knot in at the end. What I'm going to do is take my needle in between the 2 layers of fabric and pop out on the top of my outline. I'm going to pull the thread through so that the tail goes in between the fabric, and then I'm just going to start by putting a little double stitch in at the top to hold the thread in place. So I'll just put a double stitch in. And then I'm just going to work around doing a running stitch, which you can either do with the stab stitch method or where you pass it, sort of take little nibble stitches, but you want to be going through to the back and then coming out at the front through both layers of the fabric. So you want your running stitch to be on the front and on the back. And you want to do it pretty close together. Nice little fine stitches. So I'll probably now go around this shape, I think. And so those little basting or tacking stitches, they'll just hold the layers together while you'll do the running stitch. So it's really fun learning all these new techniques. Very much enjoying it. I had actually started this video about a few minutes ago, and then Travis, the pup, decided that there was some threat outside and that he needed to go and give it a bit of a boof, bit of a bark. So he was sort of, doing perimeter control around downstairs, giving little woofs here and there. He's very good. He doesn't woof unless he hears something that he thinks he needs to alert us to. I've actually taken to joking recently that when he was filling out his career form, and he, as some of you might know who've been watching for a little while, he was being considered to be a guide dog, so he was in the guide dog puppy raising program. So I do like to joke that he wrote the wrong thing on his form, that he actually wanted to be a guard dog, but he accidentally ended up with guide dog. So yeah, that's my little joke. But he's very good. He doesn't bark sort of indiscriminately. It's usually only when he hears something that sounds like it's close to around our house. Although on the odd occasion it might be, someone noisily out in the street or something. But it does make you feel quite safe. Now I might just get rid of those longer bits because they're annoying me a little bit, those basting threads. So I'm just going to keep going around. Just you can either do the stab stitching method of running stitch, or you can just do the passing through the fabric, and try not to catch your scissors on your table like I just did there. Especially don't try and cut your, goodness, I'm all caught up. Just keeping an eye on the time as well, because we have our premiere chat coming up in 15 minutes, filming this on Friday night. Probably should go and come back and do this technique. I think it's probably a bit quicker. As I say, usually when I'm just stitching myself, I do the stab method. I just find it more relaxing, but this is probably a smidge quicker to do. I'm going to bring that. So just working your way all around your outline, whatever outline you've drawn, using your thread in running stitch between and having both layers caught with each stitch. So you want to look to the back and see that your running stitch is all the way around. Just thinking which way I will go now. Yes, I can go. I'll probably end up overlapping slightly, but that's okay. I'll just continue. I suppose I'll go around here now. So I hope you're getting some stitching done today, or some creative things. For me, it's always a good day when I get to even get a little snippet of time to create, which is most evenings. It's just lately with work. Yeah, there's been the odd time where I haven't, and I definitely miss it when I don't get that opportunity. Okay, so I'll come up here now. I'm not worrying too much if a few of my running stitches overlap each other. Like here, I will have to overlap on the top a little bit, but that's all right. Oops, just unthreaded my needle, but that's okay. So I'll probably just follow around and just put some extra little stitches in where they already are. Doesn't really matter too much. And then we'll finish the side here, and then we can start putting in our colourful threads into the centre between our two bits of fabric. So it says when you've completed the outline design, end off on the back. So I'm not quite sure why it says to, not start on the back, not put a knot on the back, but they're happy for you to end off on the back. Not sure. I suppose you could always put do a few little stitches and then put the tail into the fabric if you were really fussed about how your back looked. So I'll get rid of that needle, and I'm thinking I'll use a tapestry needle for the next stage. And so I'll get myself some wool. As I mentioned, this is just like tapestry wool, old vintage tapestry wool. When you use it, you do need a needle that's decently sized. So we can now also pull out our basting or tacking stitches. I've taken those out because the fabric is now held together where those little areas are with the running stitch. And so then I'm going to turn the work to the wrong side and insert the needle at the narrowest part of the shape between two layers. So the narrowest part, so if I'm going to do one of the leaves, I would insert my needle at the narrowest part between 2 layers. So it's going to take a little bit, I think, to just make sure I'm not coming out on the front. Just do it and make sure I'm not on the front at all. So I'm just looking through to make sure the needle's not come out. Nope. And so then I can pull the needle through, pull the yarn through, and so it says pull the yarn through gently, leaving a very short tail of approximately 1 millimetre extending from the fabric. So about 1 millimetre extending from the fabric, and then cut the yarn as close as possible to the fabric. So something like that. And then continue filling the shape, keeping the lines of yarn parallel. So again, I want to come in next to where that was and pop out at the top of my leaf up here. Pull through gently, like I'm doing here. Leave a little bit at the end, and then cut off as close to the end as possible. And then I'm going to lay another one in, pop out at this end, pull through, and chop off. And then a final one for this leaf. Pull through, leaving a tiny little 1 millimetre end, chopping off as close as possible to this end. So now trim all ends of yarn close to the fabric. So I can probably take a tiny bit off this end. And I think these ends are pretty good. Let's just get rid of the fluffy bits. And then using the side of the needle, carefully stroke the fabric threads to conceal any holes. So using the tip of the needle, hook the ends of yarn under the fabric. So using the tip of the needle, or maybe the eye of the needle will be better. I'm not sure which is going to work best for this. But we're basically trying to get the ends to go back into the fabric. So it's going to just take a little bit of wiggling. Just to ease them in. And I do wonder if I can kind of get them to go in a bit by massaging away, and I might just give these ends a little trim, because as I've pushed the other ends back, it's like these ones have sort of come out a bit more at this end. And then I'll just ease them in with, I'm using, in this case, I'll try using the eye, but I think a combo of the two works quite well. Let's see if I can get this end to just go in a smidgeroo more. Just sort of giving them a bit of pressure, and then using the side of the needle, it says carefully stroke the fabric threads to conceal any holes. I probably still need to get my ends to just ease in a smidgeroo more. Hooking, they say hooking, but I'm not sure how you hook with a tip, but I'm just going to sort of push them in and just smooth it out. And then what you can see is on the front you get that lovely greeny outline to the leaves. So what I might do is we might come back tomorrow. I'll finish off the leaves, and you can have a go at doing the leaves, and then we'll do the shaded rosebud using the same technique. So I'll make this a two-parter because we're already up to the 15-minute mark, and I'll see you tomorrow to finish this off. And add a white and red is what I'm going to use to do my shaded rosebud for the center. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.